Ishiboy and Guna in the house, back with another bang on video where, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like January altogether again because Arsenal have received a transfer boost as Dayot Upamecano wants a Premier League move, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Lothar Matthaus was full of praise for Upamecano, but he said that he's a young player. He's highly talented, he's fast, has a good positional game, and he uses his body well for his 21 years old. I can see still 1 or 2% where he can learn. But as I said, he's a huge player, and that's why I'm not surprised that the top clubs in Europe are after him. And he has confirmed the fact that he would want to move to a Premier League club, and I hope that draws him to Arsenal. Moving on. Well, David Ornstein said something about recently what Arsenal are interested in selling their own players. He said, I think Arsenal will listen to offers for a number of their centre backs, for a couple of their central midfielders, and also there's an uncertainty over Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's future and speculation around Alexander Lacazette. We know central defense is an area they're looking to strengthen. Also, Ali McCoist has spoken about the Mesut Ozil not taking the pay cut saga. He says, can you imagine a story like this coming out of Liverpool? It tells you the quality of your teammate Mesut Ozil is dealing with, because he's effectively got a snitch in his dressing room. Whatever you think of Mesut Ozil, I think it's completely out of order that a private conversation regarding a wage reduction has been made public, but it's been made public for a reason, to make him look bad. Totally, I think this whole thing has definitely blown out of proportion. Why am I saying is it out of proportion? Is because the biggest problem that is actually happening is, if it is done by Mesut Ozil, it's the worst PR stunt done by any footballer ever in the history. But let's see. Moving on. Well, sources within the club refused in any way to reveal the identity of the players who requested short extension, and this is a private internal matter. The same sources added that any names being mentioned in newspapers is just speculation with no solid foundation. No player has categorically rejected the wage cut proposal. There are a number of players who have requested a short lead time and further clarification before ratifying the terms of the reduced contract. Also, Ozil is believed to be willing to take a higher pay cut than the 12.5%, also gives away at least 2 million per year in charitable donations, including paying for more than 1,000 vital operations for children across the world and funding a new training facility for players. Also, sources have been mentioning that several young players in the squad felt pressurized to accept a wage cut rather than a deferral. Also, sources close to negotiations have told that Ozil turned down the club because of a lack of effective communication over how the money would be used and the future financial implications, rather than for personal financial reasons. Also, Ozil believes the process has been rushed with insufficient consultation involving lawyers or contract experts. Talks remain ongoing, with Ozil believed to be willing to take a higher pay cut than the 12.5% agreed by his teammates. Also, a verbal agreement has been reached, but the paperwork is not completed yet. No player has categorically rejected the wage cut proposal. There are a number of players who have requested a short lead time, but also it was recently asked whether to Guillem Bayag in a Q&A recently, that he was asked about Pau Torres, and Guillem Bayag says that he will not be on the move, wants to develop at Villarreal. An agreement has been reached with between Arsenal and AS Roma to extend Henrik Mkhitaryan's loan deal until whenever the current season finishes. Also, former Arsenal midfielder Danielson spoke to Globe Sport recently. He said he was asked why he did not make it big at Arsenal. He says he was feeling lonely without his family, struggled to adapt to English weather. People were cold to him and emotionally wore him down, and also there were passport issues. BS. If a player is not successful, is not worthy enough. Moving on. Fenerbahce keep keen on signing Mesut Ozil, with player's wife keen on moving to Turkey. Club president is in constant touch with Ozil, who will make a decision on his future once the pandemic situation improves. Also, it is being said that personally, he will leave only at the end of his contract next year and then likely join Fenerbahce. Don't see how they can afford a transfer fee on top of his wage in a time when liquidity is a huge issue for most of the clubs. David Ornstein on his recent podcast was asked, and he actually spoke about, here are certain highlighting points about his podcast. Arsenal are looking to be active in the transfer market. Arsenal, like a host of other clubs, are getting busier and busier and getting themselves prepared for the transfer window, even if they cannot get the final deal done whilst there is so much uncertainty. Arsenal will listen to offers for a number of their centre halves and for a couple of their central midfielders. Arsenal are looking to strengthen at centre half. Club interested in Axel Disasi, although Arteta prefers a left-footed centre back. Highly likely that Arsenal will make Pablo Mari permanent at £10 million, which could satisfy Arteta's need for a new centre half. Charlie Nicholas on Martinelli has spoken about. He says he has the potential to replace Aubameyang. The signs with him are pretty similar. He's young, but that doesn't matter. If people look at how he finishes, if you see a cool and clinical aspect, Klopp was raving about him for a reason. And also, Arsenal's non-paying staff are left delighted after a 2 p.m. club call on Monday held by Raul Sanyehi and Vinay Venkatesham to inform them that Arteta senior coaching staff and most players wanted funds taken from their wage cut channeled to lower paid colleagues at the club. Well, these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came your way. All the views and news and everything about Arsenal comes on this platform every single day, twice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And whatever news you're going to get it on this channel. So subscribe and hit that bell icon. I will see you in my next video. Until then, cheers.